Ready when you are.
Hi guys, my name is Ricky Jesse G, and I'll be talking to you from my channel Peace Be Blessed. Excuse my English because I am from Mexican descent and I can be hard to understand at times. But anyways, Peace Be Blessed is going to be bringing you topics regarding spirituality. And I know a lot of people out there are saying, oh, well, spirituality at what sense, at what level. I, per se, do not believe in religion, and not to judge any religion. I just think that it's all a connection to the universe, which brings me to different topics. And I'm actually writing a book on some revelations that I've had during my meditations. So, with that being said, I'm going to start off my first topic on forgiveness, and it is based on different things, different aspects. But every morning I feel like I get a message, and this morning my message came from A Course in Miracles, and it talked about the body versus the mind, and how a sick body tends to be focused only on the body, which is really an illusion, right? For those of you out there that are saying or thinking, what do you mean by it being an illusion? I'm just going to start off by saying that, before anything, we are souls. We are connected to the universe, and the world keeps going round and round. Each night, the world revolves, Earth goes round, and many of us try to control that by stopping and thinking that we can actually control our situations and things, not realizing that in actuality, the universe is controlling everything, and if we just took a seat back and rolled with it, we would smoothly just go into transition and just be who we need to be, which is a soul. And many of us are just focused too much on the body form, which is a physical form. And my topic, I guess, today took me back to my childhood years with my actual dad. It's been a while that my dad has been missing. He's a missing person. But to get back to what I was talking and not off topic, I was abused physically and mentally, and I went through a real hard time as a child. It was never very easy for my family because my dad was an alcoholic and he was an abuser. And I came to realize that the person that he was in the physical form was something that both he and I had actually chosen to experience together. And the way I saw this many years back, I actually, one of my meditations, I was able to forgive him, and I was able to hug him and tell him that, I forgave him for everything that he had done. Since I really wasn't able to do it in a physical environment, because like I said, he's been missing for many years, I basically had to come to terms with it. It's still hard at times, and sometimes I don't know, how to react to situations. So going back to the topic of an abuser versus a non-abuser or situations like that. But we all think like a person that abuses someone else is doing something wrong, and we right away judge those people. But as I was reading this morning, in my morning routine that I have, which is usually my meditation and then reading something that's gonna, get me to a higher place in this physical universe, I have this thing where I'll listen to books and follow a routine, but not necessarily a time routine, but something that I just go with the flow. But anyways, reading A Course in Miracles, chapter 19, it talked about that. And it talked about the body and forgiving yourself and things like that. And one thing that came to my mind was my relationship with my dad. And I realized that we many times hold on to things and we think we have forgiven someone when in actuality we're still holding on to that. A few years back, I was with some friends and I heard this person say, I do forgive, but I don't forget. So that that saying right there just does not make sense to me, because if you're going to forgive someone or something, which to me nothing needs to be forgiven, then why won't you forget? And by you not forgetting, it means that you're still living in the past and you're not living in the present moment of now. And so to me, that forgive and forget is something that I just don't believe in. It's just something that I think many people use as an excuse, because if you're going to forgive someone, you need to forgive 100%. And I'm not saying I'm correct in that. We all have our differences, but okay, going back to my topic of the abuser, well, I was thinking about how we're all souls, right? And let's say we're in the altar of grace, where we're all receiving our, let's say, our contract with God. That's what I choose to call it. After, reading Carolyn Mace's books, Sacred Contracts, it talks about how we're all here on earth with a contract with God. And many people use God. I like to refer to him as a universal God, the energy, anything that, comes to my mind. I don't really put it down as just one name, which a lot of people do, which they call him God. And you know what? Whatever you choose to call it, that's a choice that you make by yourself. And so I came to the realization that if I'm in the same altar of grace with everybody else in this world, which is a oneness, and my dad was there, at that point where we get to the altar and we both are facing our universe, you might want to imagine God in front of us. And, and there's my dad, who was the abuser, and then there's me. And, I don't think in my heart, I don't believe that God would say, oh, you abused this person, so therefore you don't get my grace, and therefore telling my dad, you need to get out of here. Because I really do believe that God is all love. And I think we both receive the same grace at that same moment, as we all do. And I think that's what separates everyone here in our physical form, because we all think we are separate. And separation comes from the body form. And the body form can sometimes, as they say, it's an illusion that was created by your soul. And if you think in that manner, and you're thinking of forgiving someone because they've done something to you, and you keep thinking about what they've done, you're really actually thinking about the physical form aspect of what they did. Because you keep replaying it in your mind and you keep seeing that person's physical form. So it keeps you at a standstill, because you keep thinking, oh, well, this person did that. But if you both were to go to the altar of grace and see yourselves in no body form, because at that point you're just, let's say, spirits, right? Souls. There's no disconnection there, and there's no judgment, and there's no any kind of thing that you must do. Because at that point, everything is blissful. So there's no point of either forgiving or not forgiving, because no such thing exists at that point. And if you were to go to that section of yourself, which is your soul, and you would connect to that part, there's just no possibility that you can hold this body form that supposedly hurt you in a different... you can't hold them in that perspective of having hurt you, because in reality you can't hurt yourself. The only way that you hurt is because you continue living in the past or thinking about the future. And a lot of us think, oh, how come this person has not asked me for forgiveness? There's really nothing to forgive, because at the point where you get I guess at a point in your life when you get to the point that you no longer believe in that you need forgiveness, then you start realizing that everything opens up for you. And nobody owes me anything, and I don't owe anybody anything. So at that level, my dad really doesn't owe me anything, because we both chose to come to this life and experience this. And even though he abused me, he was only doing what I had actually requested from him, because I asked him for permission to wander in this wonderful physical life, earth, so that I could learn and grow from that. But a lot of us seem to lose ourselves after becoming this body form. We kind of leave our soul at the altar, and we come and start experiencing this body, which this body does taste, this body does hear. But if we were to taste completely something that, let's say we're enjoying a food, and sometimes in little moments like that, you experience, like when you're tasting something that you really like a lot, it's like you become one with that food or dessert that you're having, and you taste it fully. And at that moment, you're creating, because you're in the moment of now, in the power of now. Whereas you become one with that, food or that dessert that you're having at the moment. And once you become one with that, you just experience the fullness of it. And a lot of us, what we've lost touch with is a connection to everyone that's in our lives. And I see life as everybody that I meet up with, whether it be a person that I just see on the street, is there to teach me a lesson. Maybe not a full lesson. Let's say a stranger just walks past by me. I'm not trying to learn a lesson by that stranger, but at that moment in time, that stranger and I, at some level, decided that we were going to cross paths, which we do. But there's more significant people in our lives. In my case, my dad. He was a big part in my life and was an abuser. And throughout the years, I've had many, many experiences or trying to completely let go and thinking, like, how do I forgive him? Well, I came to the realization that there's no forgiveness to be given to me or anybody else. I was a big fan of Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he had the same issue with his dad. And he really opened me to a lot more when he spoke about his dad. That was one of his biggest hurdles in life. His dad had actually abandoned the family, and his dad was not a very nice person in the physical form. But in order for Wayne Dyer to get to where he needed to get, he needed to experience that. Without the experience of his dad, he would have never experienced anything. To the extent that he became the great Dr. Wayne Dyer and the great spiritual teacher that we all know. At that point, he needed all those steps. He needed that abuse from his dad. He needed that step in order to get to where he got. And, he transitioned to the other life recently, and my love goes out to Wayne Dyer. He will forever be a big part of my opening to this spiritual world, this spiritual life. And so for me, it was eye-opening to go to that altar and actually meet up with my dad. I have this meditation that I visualize on many occasions. I see myself walking down steps, and then I go into a garden, and there's just this bench. And in this bench, I connect to people and other spirits, where I actually talk to that spirit, and I try to take the body form out of it, but at the same time, I need that physical form to get me there, because that's how I knew my father, in that physical form. So when I sit in that little garden of mine with my dad next to me, and I talk to him, I realize that we're all in the same level. And it's not because he was an abuser that he's a mean person, because he was giving me that gift, that lesson, and I choose to take it in that manner. There'll be times when my body form, my physical form, my brain goes back to the past, and that's when I realize that I'm the creator of my thoughts. And at that point, I go to a different level, and I try to change that thought and feel a better feeling thought. And I learned a lot of that from the Abraham books, from Esther and Jerry Hicks. And so I try to base my life on that knowing, that place in me that knows that I am connected to myself as a spirit, and that we're all one. And as hard as it is, because I have experienced disease in my body, I also realize that disease comes from your body not being at ease. It's in a discomfort zone, and you create all this with your thoughts, and you really think you are your body and you are your physical form, and your number one thing in your life is your physical form. So then you are completely away from who you truly are, which is yourself. So going back to forgiveness, the way I see it and the way it has helped me, and hopefully it helps some of you out there, is just like, look at someone that you're having an issue with, and or that you think someone has done you wrong or has hurt you in some way. Even if it's an abuser that you think has just hurt you and you can never forgive, remember it was only within a time frame that person might have done that to you. So if it has been many years, why don't you just think about how you can let go of that? And you're one thought away from your happiness. Because I will tell you one thing: stop searching for happiness, because you are happiness already, and it's within everyone and everything. And so, if you're looking to forgive someone, if it helps you visualize it, take that person to the altar where you think you see God, or where you came from. And the altar can be, an altar where you see Jesus, where you see people that, you've been connected to, people that bring you happiness to your life or that have brought you happiness. Well, tell that person to join you in that party, because that person is invited to that party in the eyes of God. And I'm using eyes very openly, because I'm not saying physical eyes. I'm kind of meaning in the aspect of reality, the whole universe. So that person or that body form is welcome there, because their spirit will never be rejected. And so if you're looking to forgive that person, take them with you to that journey. Take them to the party, to the soul party, and let them join you. Let them have fun with you there, and understand that you're a soul first, then a body form or a physical form. And in that aspect, when you let go of your physical form for at least 1 or 2 minutes in that meditation aspect of things, then you'll realize that you're exactly like that person, and that for some reason you chose to experience that, and it's only made you better in your life. And I know that there's a lot of people that are going to say, oh no, it's hard to forgive. No, it's really up to you to forgive. And you don't need to carry that anymore. You just need to know that as a soul, none of this is going with you. It's just going to be something that was made into an illusion by your physical form. And I'm not putting the physical form down, because it's our tool, our navigational tool here on earth. But once we start seeing things in that aspect, and we take them to the altar with us, where there's no judgment, then you'll see how differently you will feel. And you know what? And love comes and goes. So by you sending love and giving love to that person, and by you really forgiving with your heart, if that's what you need to do, then you're going to see the difference in you. And you're not looking for a difference in anyone else but yourself. So I'll leave you with that to think about. And I will be doing more topics. And if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to email me at peacebeblessed.com. And any topics, any answers, any questions you might have. I have done some medium work before. I have left that part of me kind of behind. I was losing a lot of energy when I was doing that type of work, but I do believe in energy, and I do believe that we're all energies connected, and that we do create everything in our lives, and that we are energy beings connected to the higher self, which is, to me, the universe. I call it God many times. I just don't dwell on names. And so thank you if you're watching, and see you real soon. Have a great week, and God bless.